Um, I think they really like the idea of me being able to travel and experiencing new things. It wasn't a fast-paced environment, which I really enjoy. I felt like America has a super fast-paced, go, go, go. I did the Camino with a group of pilgrims from my church. It was about 15 of us. I wanted to get stamps so that I could get my certificate. But I really wish I got more and filled up like the entire passport. I've taken a lot of pictures, mostly of plants and of like architecture that I found during. I think it's a great experience to travel and to meet new people and just to see what other cultures are. I was enjoying my time and I wanted to keep going. And it was a little disappointing that it was over. Vest and some good tennis shoes. That makes the trip. That makes the trip.
Hey, hello, Pilgrims. Thank you very much for being with us today. And today we have a special guest. We have Katelyn. She's a student here in North Carolina from one of the local universities. So we're going to be talking to her about her experience when she did the Camino last year. So, Katelyn, tell us a little bit about your experience and about yourself, about the Camino.
So I'm a student at App State, and June 2023, I did the Camino with a group of pilgrims from my church. It was about 15 of us. There were 4 or 5 adults, and then 10 high school and college age students that all went. And then we were there for about 10 days, and we flew into Madrid and then took a train. So, yeah.
Okay. And then how you find out about that experience on the Camino?
So I found out through my youth pastor at my church who had done it previously. And I think he'd done it a couple of times before. He'd traveled the world and had done the Camino, and he wanted us to experience as well, and kind of giving us, the youth of the church, an opportunity to go on the Camino and learn about it and having a spiritual journey.
Okay, and when he mentioned that, I imagine that he mentioned at the church. So when he was mentioning about that, how he first approached to the group that did the Camino, how you get into that communication? Oh yes, let's do this in this date instead this date. How you find out about all that?
He just planned a trip for us and kind of suggested that we go on the Camino, and he got the interest of people, and I said I was in.
Okay. And your parents came with you, or they didn't?
They didn't. Neither of them came with me.
Okay. And what do they say when you tell them about that Camino trip?
They were pretty on board with it. I think they really like the idea of me being able to travel and experiencing new things. I think they were a little hesitant about me going by myself, especially just abroad. But they were definitely on board because they knew the other people that I was going with, and they wanted me to try new things.
Okay, so they knew all the group that was going out to the Camino.
Yes,
that they knew
correct.
that. Okay, so that's good. And then when you decided to go, what month of the year did you go to the Camino?
June.
In what month? June. Okay. How was the weather during that time over there?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The first day that we started walking, it did rain, and I was a little worried that it was going to be raining the entire time, but it cleared up pretty fast, and it was 60, 70s most of the time. It's not humid like it is here in North Carolina, so that was really nice.
Okay, and how many days did you walk?
I believe it was 5 or 6.
5 or 6. And the Camino that you did, what was the Camino? Which one was?
From Sarria to Santiago. So
the French Camino.
The French Camino, okay.
Okay, yeah, well, that's good. And then did you, at the end, when you walk, because you walk more than 100 kilometers, did you get a certificate?
I did, yes.
Okay, that's what is called the Compostela.
Yes, yes. I don't have it with me now, but
Okay,
it's at home.
well, that's good, but it's kind of like this, something similar to this.
Yes, it is
Um,
that. Yeah.
yes, and
In
then you have the
Latin.
shell as well. That is the symbol. Like you
Yes,
see the
I
shell
do.
probably all around the different
Yes,
signs.
we carried shells with us. I had a necklace of the shell.
Okay, and then when before you did the Camino, and then when you arrived there, how were your feelings?
I was very overwhelmed. I was very overwhelmed at first just because the time difference and carrying a 20-pound pack on my back, that was going to
Okay,
be definitely a physical struggle, but also a mental struggle just walking all the time. Um, but I think after the second day of walking, I kind of got used to it and I began to enjoy it. And that was very nice to just
okay.
accept what I was doing and
Okay.
enjoy
That's
it.
what, and what were you expecting about the Camino for doing the Camino by the time that you get there? Those expectations were better than you expected, or
I
just
didn't really have any expectations. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. Um,
okay?
I didn't really know what the albergues would be like. I thought the albergues that we'd be staying in would be like full of people. But some of them were like smaller hostels with like a few bedrooms. Um, I wouldn't say I didn't really know what to expect.
Okay.
I hadn't done
And
anything similar.
okay, and when you were staying in those albergues, you mentioned that there were few bedrooms on some of them. How did you sleep all together? So were two by bedroom? How was that?
So sometimes we were split up. Since there's about 15 of us, some of us were split up into like three bedrooms, depending on how many bunks were in a bedroom. Or
Okay,
there were a couple of nights that we had to split into two hostels, two albergues, um, and sometimes it was divided by boys and girls.
okay, and that was all pre-planned before you leave the US.
Yes, yes, we knew we had everything planned out to the amount of miles that we were walking each day, to like what towns we would stop in roughly, and then where we'd be staying that night.
Okay, that's good. And what about the meals? How do you coordinate the meals during the day?
Um, Whenever we got hungry,
Okay,
whenever we needed a break. So we would stop for lunch around lunchtime, and usually we'd all stop at one place and just relax for a little bit, and then later on at dinner we'd all eat together. Sometimes we had the Pilgrims meal and sometimes we didn't and went out to another restaurant.
okay. And was easy to find places to eat where you were walking?
Um Sometimes, and then sometimes it wasn't. It just depended on the day and how far villages or towns were from each other. So in some aspects we had to plan out ahead of
Okay,
time where we'd be stopping, but sometimes we'd be spontaneous where we'd stop.
okay. And what about when going to the restroom? Do you have any difficulty going to the restroom at the restaurants or the different places that you
Sorry,
find
can
out
you
through?
repeat that?
What about going to the restroom? Do you have a chance to go to the restroom in a restaurant or something else? Or you just need to go to the goods?
The restrooms?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, we did stop there.
So you find normal restroom to go, right?
Yeah, normal. Yeah, for the most part, yes.
Okay. Well, that's important for people that are watching, that they know what to
Yeah,
expect. So that
yeah.
way they can plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the things that you carry with you? Anything special that you say, oh, this is important that you carry this when you're going to the Camino?
Yeah, so I had a little gift from my cousin that she
Okay.
gave to me. It was a little star that I carried with me throughout the trip. And then my mother gave me a little button that I put on my backpack and I carried with me throughout the entire time so that I knew that they weren't physically with me, but they were with me. They were
Okay.
still with me. Yeah.
And while you were walking, do you see rocks that are on the top of the different posts where the sign is? Did you have a chance
Yes, yes.
to?
I did see those.
Okay. Do you know what does that mean?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that what it means is that when you because I did that, so also I know. So you do small rocks and you put some information there, whatever you think that is you need to write it there, and it's like the heavy that you carry with you during your life, you
Hmm.
wanted that have some kind of supporting, and then you write that down there, and then you leave it on Santiago and the Camino. It's like that weight that you have with you just leave it there.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
Oh, didn't know
so
that.
there are a lot of people that do that, and then on the other hand, so you have communication while you were doing the Camino. Do you have cell phone or anything to communicate with your parents here in the U.S.?
I did have my cell phone with me, and would use it only whenever we'd get to the hostels, the albergues, since we had Wi-Fi.
Okay. Okay, and then so you use it just at the time when you connected to the Wi-Fi.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, but for people that doesn't know that there is another option that while you are walking through the Camino, different carriers in the US support plans. Like if you pay a little extra per day, you can have connection unlimited to the internet and to local calls in Spain as well and in the US.
Yes. Yes. We chose
Okay.
not to do that as a group so that we could be a little bit more unplugged and just
Okay.
connect with our family whenever we were at the albergue and kind of done for the day and resting.
Okay, and what about pictures? Any pictures that you remember? You take a lot of pictures. How was that?
I did. Yes, yes. I've taken a lot of pictures, mostly of plants and of like architecture, that I found were interesting, and I still look back on those, and um, I miss it really. I do. Um, but then I also have a lot of pictures that my friends took of all of us together, and I look back on those as well.
Well, yeah. So that's our good memories.
Yes, very good memories.
Okay. And what about meeting people while you walk in the Camino? Did you meet anybody while you were walking the Camino?
I did. Only we only had very brief conversations with people, but they were always very kind and cheerful, and everybody for the most part was in a good mood, or they were uplifting each other. We met a woman in our hostel who was going through a rough time and expressed like how she was feeling, and I think especially because we were part of a church group, she felt like she could um confide in us, and that was very meaningful. And anytime we meet Americans, because we definitely stood out, a group of 15 of us
Okay.
walking the Camino, very American. So we would talk with them, and even other people from other countries, and that was really nice.
Yeah, and I guess that you're familiar with the Buen Camino phrase.
Yes, buen camino.
Yeah, and that's very common there. That everybody say Buen Camino, Buen Camino, Buen Camino.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then so during that trip, anything that you see, like you say, wow, this is amazing. Something that is in your mind that say, well, this what I see here is a spectacular.
There was a certain town we stayed in that everyone who was working at the albergue or that would come through was just so relaxed, and it 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 wasn't a fast-paced environment, which I really enjoy. I felt like America has a super fast-paced go 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 sort of place. And I think, especially being a student, I feel that way. But we were done for the day and waiting on our food, and it just felt so peaceful. And there was a group of not German, there was a group of French people that didn't speak any English, and we still found a way to communicate with them, and it was a great time. I felt like everyone got along.
Yeah, that's the good part about the Camino, that everybody there is like a friend.
Yes, yes.
And I don't know if you noticed, but the like you mentioned, the good mood about everyone, it's like the environment is very, very positive.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And how about the passport and the stamps? How did you deal with that? Can you tell us a little bit how that worked with you?
Yes, so I wanted to get stamps so that I could get my certificate. But I really wish I got more and filled up like the entire passport. I have a couple of friends that like every single time there was a stamp available, they would get a stamp. But just anytime you'd enter a town, some churches had some, certain restaurants would give out stamps, um, some like tourist shops would give them, just along the
And the
way.
hotels as well, or the
Yes.
hostel or the albergue
Yes.
also they give that to
Yeah.
you. And I don't know if you know, but there are some stamps that are kind of stamps that are really nice. They're like a professional stamps that they do.
Yes. Yes, like a
Okay.
seal almost on like an
Yes.
envelope. Yeah.
Did you get one of those?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
I wish I
Well,
had it on me so that I could show, but it's at home.
okay. Okay. And then after you get, what do you feel once you get to Santiago?
Very relieved and very, I don't know. I was very relieved because the walking was over, but
Okay.
also almost a sense of sadness because it was over. I wanted to
Oh,
I was enjoying my time and I wanted to keep going. Um and it was a little disappointing that it was over.
okay. And will you
But
do the Camino again?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I would do the whole thing again, although that's a very big commitment.
Okay. And did you get, for doing the Camino, did you get any preparation while you were in the US before leaving to Spain?
Like training?
Yes.
Yes, I did do a little bit of training. Um I would walk on the tobacco trail, um
Okay.
carrying my backpack around with me. Um but I never did like back to back like days of training. So I hadn't I didn't really know what I was walking into.
Okay. But do you think that it was really hard to do the Camino, or is something that you can do?
I don't think it's very hard. I don't
Okay.
think so. It's
Okay.
definitely reasonable. I think just a little bit of training, and I mean, I was carrying a 20-pound bag, but I know not everyone can like has to do that. So it's not that hard.
And would you recommend to somebody to do the Camino, to walk the Camino?
Absolutely. I think it's a great experience to travel and to meet new people and just to see what other cultures are like. But also, I think it's a great experience as you get to like slow down and reflect and kind of go on a spiritual journey of your own.
Okay. And do you think that that experience that you live there in the Camino, can you relate it to your day-to-day life?
Yes, yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. What would you
I
say that are those factors that can be related?
I definitely I can definitely reflect better. Like I spent a lot of time reflecting whenever I was on the Camino and thinking about like things, and I think I'm more resilient. Like I can believe in myself a little bit more because it is a challenging thing to walk, relatively challenging thing to walk that much, but I believe in myself a little bit more, and I appreciate walking a little bit more.
Okay, well, that's super nice that you feel that way. And then you think, what are the best moments for you? I know that you already did the Camino as a student,
Hmm.
but would you say that there is a special timing for somebody to do the Camino, or it can be done at any age?
I think it could be done at any age, but I am glad I did it whenever I did before
Okay,
entering in my senior year um, of high school, because that's a very stressful time for a lot of
okay,
people. I think I think towards the end of high school, beginning of college, I think that's a great time to experience new things, try new things, and get out of your comfort zone, but also take some time to reflect and enjoy life.
yeah, yeah, I believe. And then, what kind of recommendation would you be providing to somebody that wanted to do the Camino? What would you tell to that person? Anything that you may think about
Invest in some good tennis shoes.
it. Okay,
That makes the trip. That makes the trip. I bought a pair of Hokas, which are expensive, but I'm glad I did
okay.
because they and size up because your feet are gonna swell up a little bit and you want to have some room for those and not get blisters. So I'd invest in a good pair of tennis shoes, and
Yeah, and while you were walking, did you get any blister or you were fine?
I was fine, but the rest of my group wasn't. Somehow I got really lucky.
Oh, wow, that's really nice. And then, and I don't know if you know the tricks, but there are some tricks for the shoes. And so one of them is that you have to be wearing those before you go to the Camino and for some time. And, and yes, correct. And then the other thing you just mentioned is about the sizing, a bigger size that you usually wear, because you're gonna be down here, you're gonna be up here, so it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
different lands that you're gonna be walking to. And the other trick is like you can put before you put your socks on, you can put Vaseline all around your feet and your toes.
Yes.
And did you do that?
I never did that, but other people did.
Okay, because that help with the lubrication, so that way you avoid the friction, and the friction
Yeah.
is the one that made your blisters.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Katelyn, it has been really nice to have you here today and share with you about the information for another people that would like to do the Camino at some point, so they know about your opinion. So we appreciate it a lot. And thank you very much, Pilgrim, for watching us today here. And please leave your comments on the comment sections and let us know about any questions that you may have for covering with future guests that we are going to be inviting to your White podcast. Thank you very much and buen camino.